This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning, friends. Welcome to GoOnlineTrainings.com. We are discussing about subqueries yesterday, and we'll discuss today correlation subqueries as well. So there are two types of subqueries. One is called normal subqueries, that is general subqueries, and correlation subqueries. These two are called subqueries. Clear? So what is a subquery? We had seen, right? Subquery is called as a nested query or inner query. Who has the highest balance in the bank? However you try this query, you will not be able to get the answer. You must try a query inside one more query. So which query will get executed first? Is it outer query or inner query? Inner query will get executed first, and result is will get substituted in the outer query, then finally outer query will get executed. A query in the where clause or a select clause or a having clause is called as a subquery, and subquery execution is from bottom to top. Always subquery gets executed and the result set is passed to the outer query, and then finally outer query is executed. Clear? Now use equals to operator when the subquery returns a single value. Use in operator when subquery returns a multiple values but single column. SQL Server does not support multiple columns in the subquery. Clear? So what is a subquery? A query in the where clause or a query in the select clause or a query in the having clause is called as a subquery. Clear? So for example, now I wanted to give you one more example. I wanted to know what is the average balance, okay? Average C balance from the account master table, okay? So I have written a query. So this is the average balance. Now there is a query asked account ID, comma name, comma C balance from the account master table. Clear? So this is a normal query. So I have account ID, name, C balance, and there is a query. I wanted to get difference between C balance minus average C balance. What is average C balance? Average C balance is this. Okay. I wanted to have a question C balance, difference between C balance and average C balance. So what normally we do? We take this and we put C balance minus average C balance. Okay. As difference. So when you execute this query will not work at all. Why? It is telling is invalid select list because blah blah blah. It is clearly saying since there is an aggregate function here, apart from all these columns, whatever the aggregate function that is there, apart from this, you need to take all these columns and put them in the group by clause. Clear? So that is the issue now. So what is the query I needed? I wanted to know the balance account info and difference in C balance and average C balance. Okay, so accounts info means account ID, name, blah blah blah, and I wanted to have C balance and average C balance difference. That means it is one minus. So I wanted to do account ID, name. So if I remove this, there is no problem. I will be able to get this info. And if I wanted to see what is the average balance, that is this. That is also working fine. There is no issue. But the issue is that the question is that account info and difference in C balance and average balance. C balance and I wanted to say average C balance. This query you will not be able to achieve at all. This query will not work at all. Clear? So it will say you have to have the group by clause. You need to have the group by clause. So you will not be able to achieve this query at all. So to achieve this query, you have to write this query as it is, and you say minus, and you should be able to write the query. This will give me average C balance. So this minus this average C balance will happen as difference. Clear? Let me execute this query. This will give you the difference. Have you seen this? C balance minus average C balance. Have you seen? So now I have written a query where I have written a query in the select clause. What is this query called as? This query called as a subquery. A query called as a subquery. So this is one example where you should be able to write the subqueries in the select clause. Clear? So when you execute this, it is going to work. If you don't write like this, and if you're trying to write, okay, if you're trying to write like this, it will get invalid query. Okay. So if you write without writing all of them, you simply put average balance and say as difference. This query is invalid query. This query will not work at all. So this is how you should be able to perform account info and difference between C balance and average C balance. Clear? So what is this query called as? This query called as a subquery or inner query or nested query. So this query will get executed first. Try to understand. This query will get executed first, and the data will get substituted in this. The data will get substituted in this. Now it will be substituted like this. Then finally this query will get executed. Clear? So that is what you need to understand. So what is this query called as? This query called as a subquery or inner query, but it is available in the select list. Am I clear? So now this is the point you should understand. Okay. A query in the where clause or in the select clause or a query maybe in the having clause is called as a subquery. Clear? So I will also show you. Or you have a case study in one question with the help of a having clause. I think school case study ninth query. Okay, school case study ninth query. You should have a query in the having clause. Then only you should be able to answer that. Okay, please refer and try to execute it. Now you need to identify who has the second highest balance in the bank. Now anybody can get first highest. It is very, very easy now, right? So now I have explained what is the first highest. A is having 10 balance and B balance is 20, C balance is 30, D balance is 40. So I wanted to know second highest balance. First, you need to find out what is the second highest, then who has it. So this is the same thing. What is the highest, then who has it. So that is how we should be able to do it, right? Now, in this case, you need to find out what is the second highest. The first highest is 40. What is the second highest and who has it? You may be having a 30 also here. What is the second highest 30? Who has it? A and C. Can you try this query? Can you try this logic? Anybody? I'll be on mute. You can just give me your logic. I'll be on mute. I'll stop recording this.
This conference will now be recorded.
Now people are given very good response and happy to see that. And these are compulsorily interview questions. Okay, you cannot skip these topics at all. Subqueries are very, very important. Joins also very, very important. And people would ask you where clause versus having clause. So OLTP versus OLAP, primary key versus unique key, and deletion versus truncate. All these are very, very important questions. Now, so what you should be able to do it here? Who has the second highest balance? Now there is a trick you need to play. You need to find out the first highest, okay? And first highest is 40. You eliminate this record. After eliminating this, you try to get the again maximum. The maximum is what? 30. Clear? So that is the trick we're going to be playing. So how to eliminate a record? So you need to first select max of C balance, max of C balance from account master table. This will give you 40, right? This will give you 40. Now what I should do, I need to eliminate this record. To eliminate, I need to say select max, or I can say select star from the account master table where C balance is does not equals to, you need to write like this, does not equals to, okay? So you can say does not equals to. So, or you can say lesser than this, anything is fine. Clear? So now what will happen? So this is a subquery and this is an outer query. This query will get executed first. So this will go to the table and find out the maximum balance. So maximum balance will be 40. Maximum balance will be what? 40. So 40 it will take, then the outer query will get executed. What outer query will so outer query will go always from clause, then the where clause will get executed. It is going to eliminate this row. Eliminate this row. Why? Because C balance lesser than 40 means this row will get eliminated. Now you will be able to get this data, but I don't need the data. I need here again maximum of C balance. Clear? So in the first case also I need to find out select max of C balance, okay, from the account master table. So this will get executed first. It will give you 40. Then you say lesser than this balance. 40 lesser than this means that record will get eliminated. It was having 40. This record will get eliminated. Then again try to find out the max. What is the max now? 30, 20, 30. What is the max? Max is 30. So this will be your second highest balance. You need the name. To get the name, I have to say again, select a name from account master where C balance is equivalent to, open the bracket here, you should be able to close the bracket there. Clear? So this is how you should be able to execute the queries. Let me just write the queries here. Let us see what happens. So you need to find out, select C balance from the account master table, and you will be able to get a lot of account balance. But I wanted to have max of C balance, right? So you should be able to get max, but you don't need the maximum. You need to eliminate. To eliminate, what normally we do, we need to say where clause, or you can also put as of now star, okay? So C balance, okay, is lesser than this query. So which query will get executed first? This subquery will get executed first, and this query will substitute the data here. And after that, lesser than this, get me all the data. So these are the data, you will be able to get it. But I don't need the data. I need, by eliminating the maximum balance, I wanted to find out again what is the maximum balance. You try to eliminate the first highest, then automatically you should be able to get the second highest. Clear? Second highest is this, but you need the name. You should not write the name here. If you write the name here, this will not work. Why? Because apart from aggregate function, whatever that is there, it has to be there in the group by clause. Okay? Group by clause. So then it is not going to work at all. Clear? It's not going to work. It will give you all the data. If you remove the group by clause, if you simply add the name, it is not going to work. Clear? So you need to get the second highest balance. Then later, you should be able to get the name or complete details. Select star from the account master table. Now where C balance is equivalent to this, open the bracket and you should be able to close the bracket. Am I clear? So this is how you can get, this is one subquery, and within this you will have one more subquery. So this is how you should be able to understand things, guys. Clear? So people may ask you which subquery will get executed first. So we are getting Bhaskar Jogi is having second highest balance. You can put star or you can put name as well. Nothing to worry. So who's the guy who's having second highest balance? You wanted to get account ID, whatever you wanted to get it, you should be able to get it. So this is the way you should be able to write your query. So this is one subquery and this is one more subquery. Which subquery will get executed first? That is the question. You can say innermost subquery. Which subquery will get executed first? Innermost subquery will get executed first. So this subquery will get executed first. This subquery will get executed and the data will get substituted there. So like this, then this query will get executed. Clear? And this is going to be getting this data, and this data, instead of this query, this data will get substituted. So where the balance equals to this and get me his details. So end of the day, this is Bhaskar Jogi. Clear? So this is how you should be able to understand these things. So this is the outer query. Outer query as having one more subquery, and this is again subquery. This is having one more subquery. Like that, one query can call one more query. That query can call one more query. That query can call one more query. Like that, maximum 32 levels of nesting is allowed in the subqueries. Remember this point. So you cannot have one query is calling another query, that query is calling one more query. This is what is called a nesting. Clear? Maximum 32 levels of nesting is allowed in the subqueries. If you write 33 subquery, the entire bigger query will get, it will get failed. It will not get executed at all. Clear? So maximum 32 levels of nesting is allowed inside the subquery. So this is one query and this is the first level nesting and this is the second level nesting and this is calling one more third level nesting. So maximum 32 levels of nesting is allowed. Remember this point forever. Clear? Now you are able to write this query, there is no problem. But I wanted to find out who has the 10th highest balance. So the same trick we cannot apply. Find out the maximum, then eliminate it. Find out the ninth one, ninth balance, eliminate it. Find out the eighth highest maximum balance, then eliminate it. So you will not be able to do like that, right? So people may ask you nth highest balance. It could be fifth highest balance, second highest balance, first highest balance, or whatever be the thing. So you should be able to think differently. So let me answer this. Let me give you one good logic. So I'm having A is 10, B is 20, and D is 40, and E is 50, and G is 40, and H is again 50, and I again for this one, and you have 30, and you have, let us say, 20. This is the data I have it. Clear? And I wanted to know who has the first highest. You need to find out what is the first highest, then who has it. So first highest is 50 and H, I and E, these three guys are having. What is the second highest? Second highest is 40, then D is having it, and I have G is also having that. Clear? So if I'm saying what is the 10th highest, first find out what is the 10th highest and who has it. Clear? To do that, what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to implement a different logic. The first logic, what I'm going to be doing, the step number one, I'm going to be doing sort the C balance in the descending order. So that is what I'm going to be doing because I would like to get the highest balance, right? So I wanted to take this column data. I would like to take which column data? Only this column data and try to sort, not the name, only the C balance. So what will happen now? So I wanted to sort only C balance. Clear? So I'll use order by C balance in the descending order. So this is the query I am going to be writing. So when I execute it, so all the data will come, but you should be able to see lot of duplicates here. Lot of duplicates here. So because you may have duplicate data, right? So I am having a 64 records, but I don't want to get any duplicate data and I wanted to get the distinct values. The first thing you need to sort the data. The second one is you need to apply distinct. Okay. So you say here distinct. When you say distinct, what happens? Earlier you had 64 records, now you had only 44 records. Clear? You should be able to get this data. Now, after this, I wanted to find out top 3 or top n. For example, I wanted to sort the data and remove duplicates. If I remove duplicates, what will I get it? I get 40, I get 50, 40, 30, 20 and a 10 year, right? Because all the duplicate data will come here and out of duplicate data, I'm getting distinct. Clear? So I will be able to get for 50, 40, 30, 20, 10. Now what I do, if I need in a top three, so what I do, I'll use a top three. Top three means three records will be given. So this three will be given, you will be able to get this. Okay, but I don't need all the data. I wanted to find out only top three is this, top one is this, top two is this, top three, top four. If I need a top four means one more record will come, that is this one. But I don't need four records. I need only this. To get only this, I will be using what is called as a minimum. So what is the minimum out of this? The minimum is 20. If I get the 20, so then the last one is I should be able to get the name. Okay. If I need a top three guy, so you say top three. Top three means three records will be given. What is the minimum in this? The minimum is 30. Clear? And tomorrow I need top, let us say two. Top two means these two records will be given and this will not be there. And what is the minimum in this? The minimum is 40. That's it. Only here you need to change. If you need top 10 tomorrow, you should be able to get the top 10 as well. 10 records will be given, and out of that, you find out the minimum balance and get the name. So if you find out what is the top 10 minimum balance, top 10 balance, then you should be able to get the minimum. So you need to apply sorting, then distinct, then you say top 10. So after distinct, you must use top 10. If I use top 10 here, so will it work? It is not going to work because distinct must be the first word. You must use top 10 like this. Okay. I need the top 10, or if I need only top 3 and 3 values are given, but this is the first one, first highest, second highest, and third highest because we have eliminated the duplicates. So this is the first highest, second highest, third highest, fourth highest, fifth highest. If you need the fourth highest, you need to say top four. Top four means these are taken and it is kept, and I don't need everything. I wanted to get the minimum out of this. The minimum is 20 now. Clear? So you should be able to get the top fourth balance. Now I should be able to get a top three, but I wanted to get the minimum out of this. To get the minimum, so I should be able to write a minimum like this and execute. Unfortunately, it is not going to work. So can it work like this? So however you try to do that, it is not going to work. So minimum is not going to work like this. Okay. So you have three values. You have three values, or you have top 10 distinct values will be given. So you need to find out what is the 10th highest balance. That is this. To get this, you need to find out the minimum. So you need to write one more subquery. Select minimum of C balance from account master table. But remember, where C balance in, open the bracket and close the bracket. What is the meaning? These values are going to go up. So these values are going to go up. Now try to understand. These are the three values. These are 10 values will go up, and I'm using in operator. If I use equals to operator, this will fail. This will fail. Subquery returned more than one value, so you must use something else. Clear? So if the subquery is returning more than one value, you must use in operator here. I was telling the other day, right? So you have to find out what is the minimum. Minimum is this value. Now you can understand what is this last value, 44,500. If you execute this query, you should be able to see 44,500, but you need the name. To get the name, select name, or you can use also star there from account master, where where C balance is equivalent to, open the bracket here, and you should be able to close the bracket there. This is one more subquery I'm talking about. Are you clear? I'm using a tab, so that it can go in. Okay, it can go in tab. If you wanted to get it back, shift tab. You can get it back, get it back. Shift, okay, shift and tab, shift tab. Only tab will go inside like this. Shift tab. Okay, shift tab. You should learn all these things. This is simply a tab. Clear? Tab button you need to press. Clear? In your keyboard you have a tab and shift tab. Shift and tab button. When you shift, now tab. Shift plus tab will come back, and only tab will push you the data here. Clear? So now this will get executed first. Now I wanted to know, these are the 10 records, but 10th balance is this. Now that will give you this. And who's having the name? Pavan Kumar. Clear? Tomorrow I wanted to get top second, top two. Only here you need to change. Now, as we know, Bhaskar Jogi, you should be able to also put star. If you wanted to get a top third guy, top third is this guy, and a top fourth, top 12. Clear? And whatever you want to get it, you should be able to get it and change only here. So this is the N. Clear? You can get first highest, second highest, whatever you want to get it, you should be able to get it. So there is no issue at all. And these are called algorithm points. This is what is algorithm. Sort the data, then apply distinct, because you should not have duplicate data, and get a top N here. And after that, find out the minimum balance. Then later, you should be able to write your name. So this is what is called pseudo code. People will say, you write the logic or the pseudo code, or people will say you write your algorithm. So what is the algorithm to get your query? So this is the algorithm. This is the complete syntax. This is the algorithm. This is the complete syntax. Now which query will get executed first? Innermost query. This query will get executed first. Now later, so out of this, the minimum balance is this. The minimum balance will get executed. This is minimum balance. Then later, who's having that, the name and other details. Clear? So this is the better query to identify. First highest means a top one. Top one. So we have three people, Simret, Mithilesh, Kajal, right? Three people are having the same balance. You should be able to get the same name. Clear, guys? Even though you have different three people, it is able to give you that information. So this is the beautiful query that you can use. What is the logic? This is the logic you need to explain. You can say sort the data, sort the balance column in descending order, use a distinct to eliminate duplicates, then use a top n, then find out a minimum, finally get the name. This is the thing. Guys, this is the final query. If you need a top 10, only in this you should be able to write the changes. First, we are sorting the data. Then after that, we were applying a distinct. Then we are using a top N. Then after that, we were getting only the minimum balance. Then finally, you should be able to get what? A uh, the complete details about the customer. Clear, guys? So these are very, very important. So, and I was using something else here, but that was the good logic. Okay, a query can be written in different ways. I was using some other logic here. So that is not needed. So this logic you will not be able to understand. So whatever I have explained, that will be the good one to use it. So it is not, writing the complex query is very, very important. You should be able to understand, right? So anybody can write, if you're intelligent, you can write very complicated solutions. But tomorrow when you resign the company, you will not be able to get an intelligent person, right, in the company. So you should be able to write a solution that anybody can understand. There is a beautiful point. What is the point? The point in the IT industry is, anybody can write machine understandable code, but only few can write human understandable code. Clear? So that is very, very point. So anybody can write machine understandable code. Any code you write, computer can understand. So that is not, there is no big deal there. But only if you can write human understandable code. So if you write this kind of a complex codes, then people do not understand what is this and all about. Clear? You better try to write the code which you can understand, others also can understand. Because tomorrow, if you leave the company, if they wanted to maintain something, or if they wanted to, maintain, modify the code, first to modify it, they need to understand the existing code, right? So understanding existing code is not very easy. Since you have 2 lines, 3 lines, that is fine. But if you have so much of a lines, and if it is code is very difficult, and a modification to the existing code is very, very difficult by the new user, because you're not going to be working in a company in your life for your lifetime, right? You will be working for 1 or 2 years, or maximum 5 years will come out. But whatever be the code that is written by you today, and somebody has to modify it, right? So that is where the issue starts. Okay, that is the need for, to invent C++ in the IT industry. First of all, there is a program called C language, right? C language, people were writing code, but the problem they're facing it, if you write a code and you resign the company, somebody will join the company, they will not be, those people will not be able to understand the existing code, and they were trying to understand somebody else's thinking, and again they need to understand the code and read the code. It is taking a lot of time, it is taking, more amount of money, because a developer is not able to do that. Means you need to invest him in the developer to understand somebody else's thinking, somebody else's code. So people have to maintain more money, more budget for the modifying the code itself. Okay, that is the big issue of C++. That is a big issue of C language. So that is where to ease that. Okay, people have to invent OOPS concept, object orientation programming. So that is where this object orientation programming is talking about, easiness of the code. Clear? So whoever, people, whatever be the code that you have written, that can be, kept aside, and you should be able to write your own code, and you can use both the codes, whatever you need it, you can execute here and there. So that is the beauty about C++. That is the, need for OOPS concepts. Okay, OOPS is not object programming, many people will say, right? So there is a, there's a issue in the C programming. What is the issue? Maintenance of the C program is very, very difficult. Clear? So code maintenance is very, very tough. In order to, maintain the code easily, there is a one more concept, introduced into the IT industry, that is called OOPS concept. And because of that, OOPS means object orientation programming concept. Because of that, so you need not worry about existing code. You can write your own code, and you can keep, maintaining, the first version and second version, whatever you wanted to call, you should be able to call. So that is the beauty about OOPS programming. You need not touch the, old code, because writing a new code is always good. But the problem is, if you wanted to touch the old code, the problem starts there. Clear? So, C++ or Java programs became so popular. C++, Java programs, .NET became so popular because they are OOPS. OOPS means object orientation programming concept. SQL is, RDBM, relational database management, right? So C++, Java, .NET so became so popular because OOPS. OOPS is focusing on is maintenance. So that is one point why the IT industry has to invent clear OOPS concept. Unfortunately, people will not tell you in the classes. This is very, very important, guys. Okay, since you don't know OOPS and everything, but people coming from the IT, the CSE background, computer science background, they can understand this point. Okay, yeah. Anything, guys? Today, this evening 6 p.m. Okay, you will have, it will be tomorrow morning in Canada. So there's a sequence of a new batch is going to start, but that is in the local language. Okay, if you have any friends in the India, so they can understand. So 6 p.m. India time, it will be morning for the US people, right? If you have any Indian friends, you can know them. Okay, so see, this is one beautiful question the other day people have asked. Find employees with salary higher than their department average. Okay, so I have a John. John is getting 10,000 per month. Girish is getting 12,000. Manath is getting 8,000. Salman 14,000. Ratan 9,000. Peter 11,000. And this guy works for HR, sales department, HR and sales department. Okay, find employees with salary higher than the department average. First, you need to find out what is the average salary for this department. That means select a department name and select a department name, comma, average salary, group by department name. You will be able to get something, right? And you need to again compare. So what is that? Their department average, not a complete department average. Whatever be the average belong to their department. So find employee with the salary higher than their department average. This is one beautiful interview question asked recently. You try this. If not, I'll give the answer. This is very, very important interview question. Okay. Okay. Try to do that. Now, the next one is called SQL Server correlation subqueries. Let us understand what is a correlation subquery. It is similar to loop in a loop concept of any programming language. In this, outer query is executed first, and then result set is passed to the inner query. Then inner query is executed repeatedly for each value of the outer query. Here the execution is from top to bottom. Inner query is dependent on outer query. Clear? So what happens? Let us understand. I write one subquery. You know what is a subquery, right? Select star from account master table where C balance. You write some subquery here, right? You write some subquery here. Say select blah blah blah, and you write whatever you wanted to do it. You should be able to do it. And this is the outer query, and this is what is called inner query or the subquery. Okay, in normal subquery, as we know, this will get executed first, and the data, the value will get substituted in this, then outer query will get executed. So in normal subquery, this is the the first one, this is the last one. That is, the execution is bottom to top. That is in the normal subqueries. But in the correlation subqueries, what happens? It is reverse order. So first this query will get executed and the result is given to this query. Then this query will get executed for each value of the outer query. Clear? So in correlation subquery, the execution is not bottom to top, it is top to bottom. So this is the first difference between normal subquery and correlation subquery. Correlation subquery, the execution is from bottom to top. Outer query will get executed first, then the result is passed to the inner query, then inner query will get executed later. Clear? In normal subqueries, this will get executed first, and finally outer query will get executed. So this is the basic difference between a subquery and correlation subquery. Am I clear? Now, the second difference I'll tell you. The second difference in this is a independent query. This can you can execute this easily. For example, you can execute this is a subquery. You can execute this easily, right? So it will get executed, or this will get executed. It will give you result whenever you can execute, and you can execute and get some data. Clear? So in this, these queries are independent queries. Independent queries means they can execute themselves easily, and you can substitute the data, then outer query will get executed. So what is the meaning? Here two people are working. For example, simply let me write a subquery. I want to find out what is the maximum balance. So this is one query I'm executing. Then I'm submitting the data to this guy. Clear? So if you see in the normal subqueries, this is a subquery. In the normal subquery, this will get executed, and this is an independent query. Independent means this query is saying, hey, I'll do my work, I'll give the data, you finally do it, I'm going. Bye bye, I'm going. So there are two people, Sirisha and Saujanya. Both of them are doing a work, and Sirisha is saying, hey Saujanya, I have done the job. I have done the job. You take this data, I'm going. So I'm doing some work and I'm submitting my data to the one more person, and I'm saying I'm leaving. Peter is saying, I'm working on this, I have completed this work. I'll give you my result set. Then he will give the result set, and this fellow is independent guy. This fellow is independent guy. Who's independent guy? Subquery is independent guy, and this guy is a dependent guy. This guy has to wait for this guy's answer. Clear? In this, a subquery is independent. This will work. So it will give you some data, then subquery says I'm going. You don't ask me anything. Clear? In this example, execution always in the subquery. Subquery is always independent guy. Execution is bottom to top. But in correlation subqueries, what happens? In correlation subqueries, what happens? It is something different. Okay, it is also a subquery, but correlation subquery. In this, two people are working. One is outer guy, and this is outer guy. Then outer guy is doing something for the inner guy. So this is inner guy. Let us say there is inner guy here. Okay, let me write a subquery. So this outer guy is saying, hey, inner guy, this query will get executed. That's what I told you, right? This query will get executed. This query will say, I'll give you some data to you. I will give some data to you. You execute with the data. Again, you come back to me for second data. For example, there are two people working. One is Peter and one is, one more Bhaskar. I am. Peter and Bhaskar, both of them are working. So Peter is this guy. Peter is outer guy. He's giving me some work. And here Bhaskar is working. Bhaskar is subquery. Okay. He is doing some work. Now Peter is giving some work to me and I am working. So here how the execution, always Peter will give me something I need to work. But Peter is not going to give me everything together. So for example, if we have some data, all the data completely we are giving, and this guy is finally executing. Now what Peter is going to be doing, he is going to give you a single value, and he will say, hey Bhaskar, you take this value and work. and come back to me for the second value. Then Peter will give me second value. Then I will work with the second value. Again, Peter will say, hey, Bhaskar, come back to me. I'll give you third value. Clear? For example, there are 10 rooms and there are 10 keys are available. 10 rooms are locked and 10 keys are available with Peter. And Peter is saying, hey, Bhaskar, come to me. I'll give you one key. So Bhaskar went and Bhaskar is taken one key and trying to open a room number one. No, it did not open. Room number two, it did not open. Room number three, it opened. I have done. Again, I'll go back. Bhaskar will go back to the Peter. Peter will say, let me give you second key. And I'll again come back and open room number one because it did not open. Open room number two, open room number three, like that. I'm keep on opening. I can open room number seven with the second key. That done. Again, I'm going back and asking, hey, Peter, give me the third key. So, Bhaskar is not getting all the keys at a time. So, there is a room and a key. It is not primary key, foreign key. Okay. Simple example I'm quoting here. So, Peter is having a 10 room keys and Peter is giving only one by one. So, here, Bhaskar is not independent. Bhaskar is dependent on Peter's value. Clear? But here, this is a subquery, but subquery in this case, it is independent. Now see this, it is independent. I am giving you my data. I am executing first. I'll give you my data. You do whatever you wanted to do. I am going out. That is what subquery is saying. But in the correlation subquery, this is what is subquery. Subquery is now dependent. It is independent query here. It is a dependent query. It is independent. It is saying, I am doing my work. I am leaving. But now Bhaskar cannot say like that. Bhaskar is getting only one row, one value. And he has to again go back and get the second value. Again, Bhaskar has to go back get the third value. So Bhaskar is dependent on outer query. Outer query is passing the value, but not all the values at a time. Remember this point. But not all values at a time is passing only value by value. But this fellow is giving all the values. Clear? All the data will go. But here, whether you have one data, whether you have 1,000 data, one row by one row, one value by one value will come down. So Bhaskar is not a independent guy. Bhaskar is a dependent on who's Bhaskar? Bhaskar is a subquery, but is dependent on the outer guy. So Bhaskar is called as a correlation subquery. Correlationship means correlation, work together. So Bhaskar and Peter will be working with the correlationship. So work together. So he's not, you work and I work separate. It is not like that. You and me work together. Correlation. That is the meaning of this. Correlation means Bhaskar again will go back, give me the next key, and Peter will give. And Bhaskar also will go back to the Peter. Hey Peter, give me the ninth key, 10th key, something like that, and he is going to work. Clear? Bhaskar always go back and asks the value. So Bhaskar is not an independent guy. So subquery is not an independent guy. Subquery is always dependent on the this one, and these two guys will work together. So this is what is called correlation subquery. Clear? I'll give you one beautiful example. So it is similar to loop in a loop. If you know programming language, normally we write loop, right? We write for loop. For I equals to, so let me write here. In C programming, we write loop, for loop, for, okay, let me write for loop. For I equals to, let us say, 1 and I less than equals to 3 and I plus plus, and close the bracket. And you're going to be doing one more activity here. So this is a loop, a programming inside the C and C++ programming, Java, .NET, everywhere. Even we're going to be learning in SSIS as well. I'm going to be writing one more loop, k equals to 1, comma, k less than or equals to 5 and k plus plus. Okay, so some code I'm writing, and again, so I'm going to be writing here and some code. So this is what is called a loop within another loop. Now what happens here? It is going to be giving you I equals to 1. If the I value equals to 1, the 1 is going to come here. The 1 is going to come here. So the with the 1, it is going to be doing some activity with 5 times. Clear? So once it is over, then this fellow will go and ask, give me the next value. What is the next value? It is I plus, the next value equals to, let us say, 2, because I, if I increment, so you have given 1, then that 1 is taken here. Then later you will get a 2, right? The 2 will be given it here. Then later you will give 3, and the 3 will be given. So what is happening? This is the outer query. Outer query is giving a 1 by 1 value. Outer query is giving what? 1 by 1 value to the inner query, but not all the values at a time. So this is what is called outer query. This is what is called inner query. So this is a loop inside the loop. A best example of that. Clear? Correlation subquery is equivalent to a loop of the programming. Loop of the programming means if you write a loop, always first value will come. You need to work with the first value. Again, you need to go back, get the second value, and get the third value, because maximum values you should get only 3. Clear? Here you need to take this value and work it out with the 5 times. Again, get the second value, and 5 times you need to work with that. Clear? So like that, you should be able to understand loop in a loop is equivalent to correlation subquery. First outer loop will get executed. It is going to be passing the one value by one value to the inner query. Inner query will get executed with that value. Again, it will go back for the second value. Second value will come down. Third value will come down. Then the loop will exit. Clear? So this is a similar to the correlation subquery. Clear, guys? So compulsory interview question. It is similar to loop in a loop concept of any programming language. In this, outer query is executed first, and then result set is passed to the inner query. The inner query is executed repeatedly for each value of the outer query. I told you, outer query is going to give you a row by row, not all the data at a time. Here, the execution is from top to bottom. Inner query is dependent on outer query. So these are the two things. And compulsory interview questions. Difference between subquery and correlation subquery. Subquery execution is from bottom to top. Execution is from top to bottom in the correlation subquery. All the data is sent at a time from subquery to outer query. One value by one value is sent from outer query to inner query or subquery. In subquery, in this subquery is independent query. In this subquery is a dependent query. Always this fellow will go back to the Peter and ask, give me the next key, give me the next room key. That's what I told you, right? So these are the two examples. And the correlation subqueries are similarly a loop in a loop concept of programming language. If you write a loop, a value by value will come to the inner loop, right? So that is a simple thing that you should understand. Clear? I will give you one example. List the names of the account holders who have done transactions. I wanted to know who are the people who who has done the transaction. Clear? So what I do, I take a Excel and I want to explain who are the people who have done the transactions, right? Account ID, name, C balance. This is account master table. Now these are the columns I have. Let us say 1, John is having something, 20, Kiran is having something, and 30. So Jill is having something like this. Clear? There is a transaction master table, and you have account ID, name, and what is the type of the transaction, and what is the amount of the transaction that they have done it. Clear? So 10 is done, sorry, name it is DOT, date of transaction. Okay, let us say in July 12th 2020 has done some transaction, let us say $1,000. And same 20 guy on the same date cash deposit of 3,000. Again, same guy on the same day cash deposit of 4,000. Again, same guy on the next day, or let me give some other day. Okay, cash withdrawal of you have 3 and 4,000, 7,000 is gone there. Now let us say 5,000 deduction is happened, it will become 2,000 now. Okay, so they have done the transaction. This guy who opened the account, Jill, did not do any transaction. So what is the query I want to know? List the names of the account holders who have done the transactions. Clear? So I wanted to go in for matching data. So 10 and 10 when is matching, this guy is doing the transaction. 20 and 20 is matching, so that means this guy is doing the transaction. 30, there is no matching value, right? So when you apply left outer join and use the null values, then you should be able to know this guy did not do any transaction. That's what we know. But when you join here, it will give you performance, bottlenecks. Performance wise, the query will become very, very slow. Why? Because every day you do thousands of transactions, right? So when you joining this and this fellow would have done a lot of transactions all over the years, right? So every month, every day, you do a lot of transactions. So what is your query? I wanted to find out who did not do transaction or who has done the transaction. For doing that, if you join, so joining unnecessarily take all the data from here to here, here to here, it is going to match. Then end of the day, you're saying whether this guy has done the transaction or not. Okay, joining will do the action, but it will become very, very slow. What is my query? I don't want to get any data from the second table. I wanted to get a simple answer whether this fellow has done the transaction or not. I'm not going to be getting any data from here. If you don't want to get any data from here, why are you unnecessarily joining? Because when you join, it will create 10 and 10 and 20 and 20, 20 and 20. If 20 is doing 1,000 times and 20 and 20 is going to match, 1,000 times. Again, this is, matching, 500 times. 500 times it is going to match. It is waste of time. I need a simple answer whether this fellow has done the transaction or not. So if you write the join, you will also get the data, but it is waste of time for you. So in this case, what I'm going to be using, I'm going to be using loop in a loop concept. I will take 10 here and I will verify, do we have 10 here? Yes. If it is there, then this guy has done the transaction. Clear? I'll take 20. Is it 20? I'll verify. Is it 20? Yes, it is done. So I am not going to be matching. Simply I take this value. I'm going to be verifying whether this and this is matching. Clear? I'm going to be using a loop in a loop concept, or I'm going to be using what is called correlationship query. So what is the query I write here? Let us see. The query I'm going to be writing here, very interesting query. I say select star from account master table as a AM, where I'm using a function here exists. Okay, this function we can use anywhere. Now need not be in correlation subquery. You can use this function anywhere. So exist function. Exist function, I'll tell you something about this function now. Okay. So it is a Boolean. Boolean means it will give you true or false. Boolean function means it give you only either a true or a false. It is used to find existence of at least one matched data. If you have at least one row, it will become true. If there is no data, it will become false. So it will give you true or false. That's it, nothing else. Exist function will give you, if you have at least one row matching data, it will give you true, else it will give you false. That's it. That is what is the exist function. Now, let me go back and write. So what I'm trying to do exist, I'm going to be writing a subquery. Select star where I want to do the thing in the transaction master table, right? So transaction master table as a TM where am dot, see now, am dot account id is equivalent to tm dot account id. So this is what is called correlation subquery. Why? Because subquery is referring outer table. I told you Bhaskar is going to the Peter is Peter. Okay, so let us say it's Peter. Peter is, so Bhaskar is always going, you can give as a Peter. Okay, and you can say Peter dot, and you can have this is Bhaskar. You can give the names whatever you need to know, need to. So this is what you need to think. Okay, now what is happening? Always Bhaskar is going to the Peter and get one value. Okay, you can get one value and going to compare. Now when you try to execute, this will not going to execute because it is saying a multi-part identifier, because I'm referring Peter. I'm outer query I'm referring. So this is what is called as a correlation subquery. When you execute this, when you get a multi-part identifier, when you get this error, then you can understand this is not a normal subquery. This is correlation subquery, and a subquery will refer the outer query. You can have any name here. So Peter is bad, but let me put am here. So let me put tm here. Okay, so the inner query is getting always data from which? So one value by one value from which table? From account master table. So first, now according to this value will come. So it is going to take and it's going to comparing with this value. So am dot account id is equivalent to, that is what we written, right? Is equivalent to tm dot account id. So this is the thing we had written. When you write, so what will happen? This value will be taken. It is going to compare. Is it 10? Yes. At least if you get one data, exist function will become true. So that means this guy has done the transaction. So immediately it will not check whether do we have one more 10 or not. Exist function will skip the data. Then it will go, give me the next value, 20. Is it 20? No. Is it 20? Yes. If you get at least one row, it will not check for the further. It will skip. It will be very, very fast exist. Then this guy also done. Then it will take 30. Is it 30? No. 30? No. Is it 30? No. Is it 30? No. No data, it will become false. It will become false. So that means who have done the transactions means these are the people who have done the transactions. When you write this, these are the guys who done the transaction. These are the people, 35 people who are doing the transactions. But who did not do any transactions means not exist. So not exist when you write it. So these are the 29 people, total 64 people, right? So this is the query, correlation subquery is going to work. And you may ask me, sir, subquery should not have more than one column, but you're writing a star here because this is also subquery, right? Correlation subquery is also subquery. It should not write more than one column. Sir, why are you putting star? Because I am not going to be returning data. It will always give me true or false. True means a single value. False is a single value. If you have one matching data, it will give you true or false. True means a single value. False means a single value. So even though I'm putting star, I'm not getting any data. Because of exists, it will give you true. True means you have the matching data. False means you don't have any matching data. Clear? So who have done the transaction, this query is always faster. These are the people who have done the query and who did not do any transaction not exists. Clear? So this is the query you should be able to write. You can also achieve this query with the help of a joins. But when you go in for a joins, it will be waste of time because it is going to be matching all the data one by one, one by one. Why do we need to match each and everything? Why need to be joined? We need to just verify whether this value exists there or not. That's it. And when you use existence subqueries, this one, it is going to be working as a loop. Take one value and compare am.account id with all the tm.account ids. Then if it's matching, this will become true. True means you will get that name. If it is false means you will get one more. It will not get any name. Exist will give you who are the people who have done the transaction and not exist will give you who did not do the transaction, and this cannot be executed. Why? Because subquery is a referring outer table name. When the subquery is having outer query name, because outer query is am is here in the end clause. When you see this, when outer query reference is there, this query will become correlation subquery. I am referring you, and you and me work together. That is the meaning of this. Okay, so you give me value, a value, I'll take the value, I'm going to be working. Clear? When the subquery having, when you having this reference to the outer query, then this query is called as a correlation subquery, because you are not taking only your value, you are referring to this value. Because of this, because of this statement, this entire subquery will become a correlation subquery. This cannot be executed independently. Normal subquery you can execute independently. If you say multi-part identifier, this example, when with this error message, when you see, you can clearly know that this is a correlation subquery. Am I clear? Thank you, guys. So tomorrow we'll work. Okay, so what is the exist function? We discussed, and exist function can also be used in many places. We see some more examples in tomorrow's class.
Sir,
Clear?
exit keyword is mandate for the correlation query,
Not
sir.
mandatory, but in this it is useful. I have written it is not mandatory.
Okay, sir.
Anything else, guys? Okay.
Sir, for